Red Wings fans, stand up. Yeah, we gonna throw them wings up, wings up, wings up. Show the league that this is our time. Let's make the city proud. We gon' win the Stanley Cup, Stanley Cup, Stanley Cup. After that we gonna party. We gon' show everybody. We show them all around the world. We show them all around the world. We show them all around the world. We gon' throw them wings up. We gon' throw them wings up.
So let me ask you about the number change.
I knew it was coming.
Did you volunteer this?
Yeah, I mean, they asked, they said Phil really wanted, and he had it for, I don't know, 7, 8 years here. So, yeah, I had no issue doing that. So, it doesn't matter to me.
Was there a trade or something? Did he have to give you
We'll see.
something?
We haven't figured it out yet. Might have to be some kind of
significance to 81, or is there?
No, not really. There wasn't too many numbers available. They retired a lot of numbers here too in Detroit. So there was a list, and it was one of them, and it's not. Looks a little bit like 51, I guess. So
you add 8 and 1 together, that's number 9. That's pretty iconic here in Detroit.
That's true. I haven't looked at it that way.
What gives you optimism about this year?
I think we made some really good additions. I think Stevie coming in, you can see guys are really on their toes around here right now. He brings a lot of respect. And then I think Larks and the young guys, I'm sure they're gonna build and get even better from last year. And it's just up to us other guys. We gotta keep it going too. But we got some really good pieces. Tough division we're in, but I think talent-wise we're really strong.
Is there a sense of awareness too? I mean, there are a lot of young prospects pushing for jobs that there's a wave coming in that want minutes.
Yeah, no, we feel it and we see it, especially in Joe and Steve. You can see they're good players, and if not this year, for sure they're going to be here next year. But they're really close, and they probably should play. So it basically comes down to what they think is best for their development. No, it's exciting to see those young guys come up, and I think it helps our older guys too. They push us every day.
Is it possible to elaborate a little bit on maybe the difference between, Ken was here for so long and had a way of doing it. Can you see a difference? Have you had much interaction with Steve at all? Or?
No, I think he's been doing his stuff. We haven't seen him a lot around the locker room. But just knowing him and talking to people, you feel the respect that there's about him. And he's definitely going to keep guys on their toes.
That is kind of a good point.
Since you were here for the prospect term, what were your impressions of what you saw?
Well, I thought, first of all, Game 4 is always a tough game in terms the guys are real tired. It was 4 games in 5 nights, so I don't know that that's the best evaluation of that game. I was here for Game 1 as well. I had an event on Saturday, an event on Monday back in Detroit, so I couldn't be here for those. I thought... I thought our guys played well. Obviously, went in the tournament means that they had to do a lot of things right. I got a number of players that showed pretty well. So let's extend that now into camp and keep going.
How will you divide up the rosters?
We'll have 3 teams. 2 of which would be guys that I would say are closer to being Detroit Red Wings. Closer either our guys that have played for us or whatnot, and then the 3rd team will be guys that I would just say are probably further away from being Detroit Red Wings. So the 2 teams will be a little bit heavier stacked.
So it'll be different.
With Sedina, do you know who? Do you want to pair guys like Sedina, Valeno, and such Sider with veterans to kind of?
Yeah, it's a little bit when you get to 2 teams. It does present some difficulties. I certainly want Sider to be with a D partner that's a vet. Zadina when possible. Valeno. The problem is when you get to 2 teams, it just shows how hard it is. You have to beat certain guys out, and so we'll put them together. And the biggest thing I'd say is literally it's for 2 days, maybe 3. My explanation to the players today is it's a start. It's not where we finish. Their play will dictate where we finish.
Seems like there are jobs and definitely ice time to be had here going forward.
Well, there's no doubt. I think I have one line that I know I'm going to play together, and the Larkin line, that Larkin, Mantham, Bertuzzi. I know I'm going to play that line together. Other than that, I know Double A's going to be high up in the lineup. Other than that, I mean, it's wide open up front in terms of finding ways to make your way and be an impact player. And then on D, I've probably got there's definitely spots open there as well, and we got a whole bunch of guys that are vying for those spots. So it's competitive. That's how I want it. That's how Steve wants it. That's what the league is.
Do you anticipate everyone being like Daly, Green, Erickson?
Yeah. I've talked to all three of those guys. They all feel real good. So I anticipate them all being healthy and ready to go. Green has had no setbacks at all. He's felt good all summer. He's trained hard. He's really, he feels like he's in a good spot. Talk to Dale, same thing. Dale's had a real tough year that probably went a little bit unnoticed last year in terms of he was in, he was out, he was in, he was out, and he feels great. He thought he had a great summer, and the same would go for Johnny. So, I think all those guys are in healthy spots, and now hopefully they can have great camps.
Is there anybody who's not that you know of?
No, right now I anticipate everybody. I got to think about this for 1 second. The only guy that will not be ready for camp is Alec Regula is out. He's out with a concussion.
How familiar are you with some of the new guys like Ernie and Filppula and Nemeth, the guys?
Well, I coached Phil when I was an assistant here, so I've known Filppula for a long time. I'm very familiar with him. Had an opportunity to watch Ernie play on tape since we've traded for him, so gotten familiar with him. Spoke to Tampa staff, had a good conversation with Adam as well. Actually, I knew him as a 15-year-old way back when, so he's certainly familiar enough. And then Patrick's the guy we targeted. We got to make sure we're a better defensive team, and that's what he's really good at. So I don't know him great as a person. I've had some opportunity to be with him a little bit, but I think Patrick knows what he is, and look forward to him making an impact.
You expect a competitive camp every year, but this year maybe a little bit more so with the way the young guys have kind of progressed and are coming on, and you can see that they're really pushing now.
Well, I hope so. I hope those young guys push and make a real strong statement that they're ready to help our team win, and that's the biggest thing. I think both myself and Steve, it doesn't make any sense to put guys on the team just to be on the team. We want guys that are going to help us win. So if those guys are ready to make us a better hockey team, then that's awesome. Ultimately, we've said this lots. Our growth has to come from that group. It's how quick are they ready to do it, and how good are they going to be. Those are two unknowns that we can't answer, but they get a chance to answer every time they play here in exhibition, and every time they keep playing throughout the season.
What do you watch for in training camp? I mean,
impact on the game. We've got nine exhibition games. We're going to start here by making sure we have a great mentality, a work ethic, and competitiveness. That probably is the number one thing we want to get out of Traverse City, is that we know we're going to work and we're going to compete. Training camp's hard, and we're going to make sure guys can leave training camp and they know they put that time in. Once we get in the exhibition season, give guys opportunities to earn jobs on the team, earn jobs on special teams, earn jobs in certain lineups and on deep pairings, and so which guys make the best impact in the game, who makes more positive plays and negative plays, which guys have taken steps in the stuff that we wanted them to take steps in.
Training camp, a little subtle shift, less scrimmages.
Yeah, for me, the scrimmages are just okay. Sometimes, Ken liked them. I would say Steve it didn't matter as much, and so this gives a chance to have two good practices, then play a red-white game. I mean, we play 9 exhibition games, so I didn't think we needed a whole bunch more scrimmages. We are going to play some small games and some 3-on-3 on that second half of the practice, and it just gives us a little bit chance to get a little more practice time in.
The 9 games, how do you manage that? I mean, that's so much hockey.
Yeah, no, at the end, the players will play the same amount of games that I would have played if we had 6, to be honest with you. Like, if a guy needs 3 to be ready, he's going to play 3. If he needs 4, he's going to play 4. If he needs 5, he's going to play 5. So the 9 just becomes a number. It's probably, hardest on the staff than anybody else, training staff, everybody. But the one thing it does is it takes away a little bit of practice time. But now, with that said, that Craft Hockeyville is a special thing, and to be able to go to the UP and play is awesome, and so we look forward to that.
Jeff, last year it was 60 minutes of hell. The team had T-shirts. a different rallying cry this year, or does everybody pretty much know what the task is at hand?
We'll have our messaging at camp. Maybe not T-shirts, but I've done that prior, and probably I'm not doing that this year. But we'll have our messaging at camp, and hopefully we get a clear message and a path to success for our guys.
Last year when you split the teams up, it really appeared that one was Detroit Red Wings, one was Grand Rapids Griffins, and one was Prospects, as you said, might be a little bit away. Are these first two teams going to be more of a mixture because there is so much competition?
That was actually 2 years ago I did that.
Oh, okay.
And I knew for the most part who was going to be on the hockey team. Last year I split it almost evenly amongst the three. This year I've kind of gone with two teams that are more compete for jobs. The way the why switch, well, every year's different, and the way that I looked at the players and whatnot, to me it made the most sense to put those two together. The closer you can get to your own team practicing, like I did 2 years ago, potentially the quicker you can hit the ground running. Now we do have a full week before our first game, so we've got some time to get going that way too. But I've tried to work those teams so that at least there's a lot of NHL guys or guys that are potential NHL guys on those first two teams. Thanks, guys.